It's been a while, and it really has. Alright, everybody. Turn down the volume on the music just a bit. Let me get this all EQ'd up right and say welcome back. It's been a while since I made a video. As you can tell from my voice, this has been a horrible tax season. It's been stressful. It's why you haven't heard from me. That and Urbis hasn't come out with an update in a while. Bitorium hasn't come out with an update in a while. The only update for Urbis that I have is that assets are now live, and I believe IPv6 is supported. That hasn't been confirmed. I haven't played around with it, but in theory you can now host smart nodes off of IPv6 VPSs. So for those of you who might have more easy of an access to IPv6 than IPv4, good news for you, and those interested in NFTs assets, which I will very briefly touch on at the end for a very special announcement that we would like to do. That is now live with Urbis. That's the only update I have there. Bitorium, which is the exchange you're going to be looking at today for our demonstration, up and running. A lot of the back-end issues have resolved. There are still some more. Big Dog has been out of town on some family business. He has tried to solve little errors that have come up, including stuck transactions, stuck withdrawals, things like that. As always, go to their Discord, either one of them, Urbis or Bitorium, if you have a particular problem. There are tons of people there who are always willing to help. Super nice. I'm floating around on there, although I am a lot more active on the Urbis one because I like to talk shit with a couple of the guys over there than I am the Bitorium one. But I'm on both, so if you have questions about that, go ahead and ask. I don't actually have a Discord set up specifically for me and my projects because we are still in the infancy stage. And this is the first of many things to come this year. This is the first of, I think, 4 projects we have scheduled and slated for release by the end of this year and what that's going to look at. So the first thing I want to discuss is the NikoVash Empire has been resurrected. As we release these projects, it will be released under the ownership of the NikoVash Empire, of which I am one of the 4 members of. It's a valid company based out of Portland, Oregon in the United States. It has been AWOL since I, the owner, got cancer back in like 2015, 2016, and has switched over primarily to consultant and online sales for commission goods. Basically, you bring me old, cool, eclectic shit and I sell it for you. That has largely been what the company has done for years, including ebook sales for some of our work, some that was commission work from other artists that we just sell for them, give royalties for, that kind of thing. We are announcing that the NikoVash Empire will be resuscitated and it will now be added to that roster will be software. On that note, the brand name under the NikoVash Empire is IOVA Software and Plant Utility. IOVA will be utilizing a lot of AI voice implementation for various projects that we will announce later. So if you see mention of IOVA or Plant Utility, those are one and the same. They are sub-brands of the NikoVash Empire. And today we would like to announce the coming of a piece of software that's fully built out, but it's not ready for full deployment yet, and that is Will It Trade. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright. Will It Trade was a piece of software that I wrote originally for me, utility software, which is why it looks like this. This has no graphics built in. These are all kind of the default to the OS that you're on. In my case, clearly I'm on Apple because I have to be an Apple fanboy, right? It's just what I have. So you have 2 basic pull-down menus here that have various cryptocurrencies, including the newly added Urbis. So at launch, Urbis will be there. More on that with some of the known issues that I will go over after how much it'll cost. That's the known issues will be the last thing that we talk about in this video. So there are some issues to be aware of even at launch. This is just kind of a brief description on how to use the software and what it was for. So I built this software for trading. So that way I could compare, say, a Bitorium trade to say, I don't know, how much is 1,000 tokens worth, and it'll give me a value. And would it be a good trade for, I don't know, let's just pick on one simple, you know, 0.20, or sorry, yeah, 0.3 tokens of Tron. You know, is this a good buy sell order? So if I sold it, yeah. If I buy it, no. And, you know, and that's basically what this app does. It's a little bit, there are some cool little features that are baked in that are not just as easy, but really what this was designed for was just a quick down and dirty way to compare trade pairs, right? So I'm going to pick on one using the Bitorium exchange, that's who I'm using, mostly because I have an account, and mostly because some of the other ones that we've used are down for maintenance, or there have been some scandals in the industry, and this one has done me the best solid. Plus, like I said, I'm very active in the Bitorium networking group, and this is their baby. This is their product. This is the reason why massive updates don't necessarily come to the token outside of security updates. Like, those are always top priority. What I mean by assets is, like, obviously there's no NFTs. The wallet and the the wallet and the node software hasn't been really updated because it's stable, it's solid, and there are no known bugs. That's why it hasn't. And like I said, Big Dog has been dealing with some family issues. So it works, but it's not their primary focus right now. Their primary focus has been making sure the exchange works. So that's what we're going to do today. And Yaga is one of them that I have in this wallet. I don't have much left because I only keep in here what I day trade or what I just kind of forget about, and Yaga is what I forgot about. So if we're looking down here, if you're familiar with trading at all, if I wanted to sell Yaga, because that's what I have in value for USD, because that's how this is. This is a first pair, second pair combo. So if we line that up to the same to be, I'm blind, Yaga in the first pair, like it is over here, and Tether in the second pair, like it is over there, I believe that I have, oh yeah, it'll show me right here, I have 262.4 tokens total available. So when you click on with your primary mouse button, actually right now I think it's always coded to the left, but that will probably change because when you're on the web, this is not ever actually designed to be a standalone app. This will be on the web. More on that later, but for the time being, I think it's always the left trigger. You click on it and it'll ask you how many tokens for this transaction pair, right? So in this regard, we're 262.4, matching this total right here, because we don't know how much we're getting, right? So if we wanted to do a quick sale, if I believe would be the correct term for that, we can click on it here and say, all right, well, how much, right? Because we don't know how many tokens we're honestly buying. We want to see if this is a good trade. The primary is, click here. That'll ask you how many tokens do you want to manually enter. Left mouse button clears, so that is true over here. Your primary adds, your secondary clears, but if you click with the mouse scroll wheel button, also known as the third button, it'll bring up what is the buy sell price. And what this means is that you would take, in this regard, this 0.00128, and you enter it in here, and it'll do the calculations to tell you the maximum amount of the other token, in this case Tron, that you're gonna get. Right? And it'll put the two values down here in USD. Right now we only deal in USD. That is a future upgrade that we are going to do, not a paid upgrade. It will be included for free, just a future update that we're going to do later to institute more fiat comparisons. And then if you wanted to execute this, well, if you're going to sell it, yeah, you're going to lose about 7 cents worth of value trading from Yaga to USDT or Tether or TRC-20 because this one is specific to this platform. That's the version of USDT, or if you were going to buy it, you would make 7 cents, and that's just because there's a difference of 41 cents versus 34. So that would be your buy-sell comparison. And in our regard, since we are selling it, because that's how we would have to buy the USDT is through a sell, you would click sale, and in this regard, we would be losing effectively 7 cents on the sale. This does not execute orders buy or sell. This just sets up that the situation if what is on a particular website. So this doesn't have to be tied to a particular website. You can use any of your favorite exchanges as long as you're getting the basic information. How many physical tokens are you trading, like your known tokens basically, versus your, and if you knew that you were going to buy like straight, this is the amount of tokens that you would have. And if you were doing it for like a personal one-on-one outside of an exchange, you could totally do that too. You're going to give somebody 262 for tokens and they're going to give you $1. That would be a buy, or I'm sorry, that would be effectively a sale because you are selling it for that much. You would stand to make 59 cents. So this can be utilized in a lot of different ways. Primarily it's designed to work for exchanges, but what this does is give you a comparison. What is the number of, or the value in the tokens, the value in a fiat, which right now we're only tracking in USD for both tokens, and then is the sale profitable or not. We have taken out a lot of the debugging tools in the final release version. So basically it is click to enter tokens, or primary click to enter tokens, secondary click to clear. And then in this regard, if we said, oh, well, we're gonna, do this by 0.003, oh, right, because that doesn't work. It's a 1-to-1. Yeah, and that's just not 3,000. I don't know. There we go. Did it 3,500. That's gonna kind of give you the more or less breakdown of it. So yeah. Primary click to enter the tokens manually, secondary click to clear, and then this is the calculation based on this value right here. We're not set up for that way, but that is effectively it's a mathematical process. So going back to it, setting it up again, 262.4 is the known value. You would then say, oh, okay, well, what is the buy sell price? And what is the buy sell price would be these prices depending on how you plan to structure your buy-sell order, because sometimes you want to put something for sale on the marketplace. It's not the market or the immediate value. You hope that somebody will buy it. So if knowing that we're going to lose money on that sale, if you wanted to say, oh, okay, well, since 0.00128 is a bad price, what would 0.0013 look like? And in that regard, if you were going to now execute this as a sale, you're still selling at a loss, but let's actually increase that 0.002 as a primary example. Okay, now you execute that as a sale, and now you're going to make a little bit of profit, right? So then you would, I want to sell for that much. Then you would go ahead and match that in here. 0.0. What did you do? 3. No, obviously not. 0.003, I think. Yeah, right now we don't track that, so I think it was 0.0013, or maybe it was 0.002. Like I said, there are a little quirks in this software that, obviously, like as you saw here, it didn't fully clear out the existing buy-sell as we changed variables here, because we can do, sorry, wrong one. I think we did 002. I think that's what we did. Yeah, that's what we did. So for then match it 0.002, right? Oh. I actually didn't want to do that. Let's cancel all of those. Okay. I actually didn't want to set it up. I wanted to do it and to say, okay, how much Neoxa, and as you see here, there is a rounding issue because you'll see it here that this is what you're actually going to get from this exchange. We truncate to 4 using the mathematical calculation because this is an estimate. This isn't 100% accurate. This is going to be what you're actually getting minus any obvious fees from the particular platform that you're using. This is what you would actually be getting, and as you see, this is just an approximation of that. 0.52479999 does round up to 0.4 or 5248, and then obviously when we convert that rounding function into USD, it's just rounded up to 53 cents because it's close enough. So do keep that in mind that we do not use super pinpoint precise in our application unless that is a feature that we hear back from the community in the future that is something that you want. We can totally build it in, but in current we don't do it that way. We just because this number can get quite long, we just decided that 4 characters is good enough for most people, because this is really just a tool to help you determine quickly, is this a good sale for me? These are micro scale. I could see somebody being like, oh, well, I have actually no. I need 500,000 Neoxa, right? Because for those of you interested in doing the Neoxa masternode that may or may not be live, not entirely sure, and you're not doing it against a stable coin, right? Like let's say you have Bitcoin, which I don't think I can do on this one. Yeah, let's look at one that I can do, just because I think on this exchange Neoxa only sells for Neoxa versus Bitorium, or Neoxa versus USDT. To say that, oh, well, I'd like to buy it at this value. What would I need? Like how much? So yeah, you would need effectively 2,195,000 Bitorium. Wait. Oh, that's... Hold up. Huh. Why is that such a bad trading pair? Oh, I see why. That's not what... I did the wrong one. My bad, people. Okay, yeah. So that's what I was more expecting. I was expecting it to be exceedingly high. That's just because I entered the wrong value. Yeah, that would be, in this regard, it would show you that this would be a very, very, very bad trade. But this is a very low volume trade on this particular market, Bitorium to Neoxa, because these are 2 very uncommon pairs to trade against. The more popular one is obviously USDT, and for Bitorium on their own exchange, you have quite a few more pairs, right? So you have EXTO, NXA, PRCO, Key, Gecko, GC, RXD, Reedy, Octa, GSPC, BRB, BBC, which is always a hilarious name for a coin, Ethereum Classic, Onyx, HVQ, Turbo, Yerbus, NS. Yeah, this is the other one. You guys want to trade Yerbus, this is the place to do it. They survived the longest. I know that there's another market that people have been using, and Yerbus, same thing, USDT versus Bitorium. But in general, this is how you structure the software to see whether or not your trades are in your favor or not. Because sometimes you discover that these are just horribly out of balance and people are smoking absolute crack. Sometimes it just exposes the quick volatility of cryptocurrency. Alright. So who is this for? This is for any traders that can't do these calculations in your head. Look, the more that you trade, the more that these kind of things are going to be second nature. Obviously, if you're trading into a stable coin like USDT, this is really, really obvious, right? And you would just really not even need the second pair realistically, because if you had, I don't know, let me just pick on one here. let's say 500 tokens of Cosmos, which is about $5,000, sorry, $5,700. You could completely ignore this one because it's effectively a one-to-one. So if you had 5,800, you know, actually it's a little bit higher. So let's just do 5,745, just I don't know, for sake of convenience. You know, would this be a good trade one way or the other? Well, it is if you are selling it, not so much if you're, excuse me, buying it, but at that volume you're only losing about $6 on this particular trade. So that's really what this is for traders of cryptocurrency who may not always be able to calculate in their head, well, if I'm just comparing 500 of this token to, let's pick on another one that's a little bit more obscure, right? Oh, I didn't realize. Oh yeah, because Tezos is about $1 too. Let me stop picking on ones that are kind of pegged. Ah, great example. Yerbas, who has a little bit more of a fluctuating, I think 1, 2, 1. Yeah. So that is 1.5 million of Yerbas is equivalently that, and obviously that would be a bad trade. But this is what this is really designed for, is to see, you know, are these good and bad trades, to give you a real world number to say, oh, okay, well, if I'm just looking at 500 Cosmos or Atom tokens versus 1.5 million of Yerbas tokens, is this a good or not so good trade? Well, now you can compare them in a fiat that is a real world number that a lot more of us have a lot more familiarity with. And if you just want to kind of see what a given price on a coin is and not even use them for trading, this is a great utility for that too. Because what is one Bitcoin worth today? Which is, you know, a lot of people ask that question, and this answers you. Or, you know, in a lot of cases, well, I have 0.7569832 blah 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 blah. How much money do I have? And it'll tell you in real time. Now, this number can be as long as you want. The calculations get rounded up to a standard fiat value in United States dollar. We really only use the last 2 decimal places, and I don't know how I got so good with that. Might be my math's off, but who knows? No, because there we have it was just stroke of luck the first time that I got a 00. So the point is that you can use it just for comparing real-world cryptocurrency values, like how much do I have today, which I use that for a lot, or, you know, comparing to. Now, why this very small list? Well, this is what I used to day trade in on a fairly regular basis, because this was what I was trying to trade in and out of for me. I developed this software for me originally, but like I said, there has been a lot of interest in it, and we will be making it available. In the future, the USD button here, which is a button, right now all it does is clear everything out. It basically reinitializes the application. And the reason for that is one of its functions in the future will be, obviously for me, the US dollar makes sense because I'm in the US and I deal in US dollar as my fiat currency in the real world. You might not be. You might have the yen or the won or the New Zealand dollar. I think they use a dollar, or the pound or the euro, or, you know, fill in the blank on that one. Our ultimate goal is to support more and more fiats, and those will kind of get voted on by what I would like to see as a community. And then also in the future, we would like to add more of those. One of the things that we will be adding in the future is, instead of having this propagated like this, what you're actually going to have is a list of all the cryptos that we support, and then it's a checkbox. I want this, this, and this, and this. Because we've played around. What happens when we put 1,000 different cryptos in here and these lists get long, and the visual aspects of them, particularly on the web, aren't always great. And what I mean by that is I will show you where an alpha version of the software is. Which doesn't work. Yes, and we developed it in live code. And we are moving away from that, but no, it just doesn't want to download. Fun. The point is, there are some visual problems with the software as it exists today. Ah, there we go. All downloads are complete. Still doing its spinny thing. Whatever. But yeah, visually, this will take on properties because we've done none of the visual aspect of this. This is just skinned in the Mac operating system, and clearly over here it is skinned in kind of a default, which is like a ancient version of Windows slash older versions of Linux. This is kind of like the default skin because I haven't done any of the skinning for this app. Because it was never designed to go out. At the time of release, that will be resolved. This will be entirely skinned out. It will look modern, good, and sleek. And so that is leading me into my next point of when will this be available? Hopefully 90 days or less. So we are targeting right around the time of summertime, and it will be on a website also in the future to be announced. It will be a portal hosting all of our software, of which this is the first piece. It will be available for purchase either on a monthly subscription, quarterly, biannually, and annually subscription. We're looking at a $1 to $2 USD price range for the month for the longer subscriptions, and probably something more along the lines of $3 to $5 if you just want to use it for a month. Because let's be honest, unless you're a very active trader, you're probably only going to need this 30 days, right? I just need to do trades today and I don't want to lose my ass over them. Totally understand that. So give me one quick second, folks. And like I said, how much will this cost? Like I said, that is our pricing structure. In the future, we would also immediately we'd be able to take fiat currencies and a vast array of cryptocurrencies using a standard gateway methodology, but we would also in the future like to directly take Bitorium and Yerbis, and primarily Yerbis by way of their new asset-driven tokens, of which we will be developing a non-fungible licensed token, as opposed to an NFT that has value based on market perception for little digital gifts or whatever has been the current trend. We want to build our software licensing into NFTs, either on monthly subscriptions like we're planning, or for some of our other software in the future that is a permanent price. You know, let's say it's $100, but you want to sell the software, maybe it's an older version, to your buddy because you're not using it anymore. You would legally have that right. You sell the license travels to whoever, tracked on the blockchain. That is what we are building out in the future. That is not ready at launch, but that is where we're going. All right, folks, thank you so very much for sticking with us. If you have any comments, questions in the future, you can obviously get at me here. Find me on the Yerbis Discord, the Bitorium Discord, or anywhere like that. All right, y'all. Have a good day. See y'all next time.